Yeah, so happy fucking whatever it is, Friday morning. This Suzuki Samurai boat motor movie number 999 of disgust. As you can see, I got the tin on it, the top anyway, the valve cover, water pump, oil pump, all that shit. I got her all cleaned up, ready to go. Got her bolted back together, torqued to spec. When I got the motor and I pulled her apart, she didn't have any. If you saw the video, she didn't have the it's in there. Can't think of her name. Can't think of what I'm supposed to be calling them. Those little butt plug things. The damn dowel pins. That's it. It didn't have the dowel pins in there. So problem I have now is I don't want to put the motor back in there with no dowel pins, because that motor now has to last me at least a year, because I'm dirt poor. If you haven't seen any of the other videos in the shop, that motor has to last me at least a year, so I can accumulate enough time, to get the parts to put it together. This motor that was only supposed to cost me, the purchase price has cost me, not just what I paid for it, but the time to put it together and all the work that I had to turn away that I could have been doing while I was trying to figure out this thing and what I was going to do with it, and all the time I spent at night pulling my hair out. Yeah, it's a simple, Suzuki Samurai 4-cylinder 1.3. I'm in the shop every day. You would think I would have had it all sorted out, but my problem isn't time or stupidity. My problem is money. I'm trying to do everything on the cheap. They had actually raised the shop rent here, almost 200 bucks. So now what I got going on is I have a truck I basically can barely afford to fix at this point, because now I got two bad motors. I mean, shit. It's just, where does it stop? And all this is because people talk shit, people sell shit, and people lie. So now I am stuck with a motor that I can't trust, and I have to pull back apart. And that's my own fault. I mean, I shouldn't have put it together without those pins. I figured I'd take the gamble. This isn't my first motor. This isn't the first, this isn't my first day working a wrench or anything like that. So I thought I was going to be able to throw it together, not have to worry about it, and take it care of real quick, and have the other motor built, fairly quick. But now we're getting into the season where in this shop I need certain things to be done in a certain time or in a certain order, because we're getting to the busy season. Let me get you a little closer. And 3 minutes of me talking shit and sounding like an idiot, but that's really it. I bought the motor used. I took somebody's word for it, just like everybody else does. I took his word for it. I saw it on the internet. They're hard to find. It's a 88 Suzuki Samurai 1.3 liter carbureted. I did get a few extra parts with the motor, but not enough to equal the anger and stress and strain of all this other horse shit that I have to deal with now. If you just watch some of the channel and some of my other videos, like I had said before, this motor looks like there's been quite a few hands in it. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Look at that there. I was told the motor had a cam in it. I see that ground there. Somebody ground the Phillips head flat. All the Phillips heads are gnarled up. You have to excuse the lighting. For some reason, all those died. I don't know why. But also in the middle of this, you know, and there's a little bit of surface rust in here, which is fine. I understand the motor sat for a little bit. I mean, for what I paid, you know, I $400. I got the damn thing, you know, delivered here. You know, I got an extra carb or two, an extra intake. You know, but I was told it was a runner. I expected to at least have to maybe change out, you know, the oil pump and do the timing or something. I wasn't expecting to pull, you know, what happened is I had seen something I didn't like in one of the exhaust ports once I dropped the manifold. It came with a manifold on it, exhaust manifold and intake manifold, so you couldn't really see anything. What I saw was that one mark that I just showed you guys, and I was okay with that. So I pulled the exhaust. I saw that problem. I said, ah, shit, let me check the compression. So I went to check the compression. One cylinder was beat. It just didn't have anything. It was blowing across. I pulled the intake. When I was starting to pull the intake, I noticed that some of the intake bolts were stripped and stuck, and it was missing one nut and maybe a stud. I can't remember, but you know, the intake gasket was fat and bloated and missing pieces, and I popped it off, and you could see it was pulling in antifreeze in 3 cylinders. I don't know how long all 3, but it was pulling antifreeze mainly in I believe cylinder 3, and it was caked inside of there. It was all crusty like it gets when it turns into candy, you know, from it cooking on the aluminum. And when I had popped the valve cover and took the head off and did all that, I noticed that one of the valves was sticking. It was stuck because it had surface rust on it. Because when I gave it the compression test, I guess that cylinder was the one that was getting most of the moisture in it, and the valve had a little bit of surface rust on it. So I mean, it didn't take much to take it free. I mean, I just tapped it and she was freed up. But the whole port and everything was shot. I pulled the head. The head gasket looked brand new. I mean, you know, I don't know. There's been so many hands in here, so I was actually afraid to take the crank out, not knowing. I mean, if anybody's ever built a motor, you know, if you take the crank out and that crank's been shaved, or you know, it could have 4 cylinders. It could have 4 different size bearings on that crank, depending on, you know, what kind of asshole put it back together. I mean, I'm not trying to open a can of worms. Like I said, I wanted to rebuild. I have the original motor in the Samurai. That's the one I wanted to rebuild, and that's the one I wanted to spend the money on. But now, this is going on month number 2 of me driving with that bad motor with the blow-by. It's got blow-by. It blew out the front seal and the rear seal, so I'm leaking out of the front oil, out of the front seal and the rear seal. So for every gallon, I'd say every 5 gallons of gas, I'm going through about a half a quart, maybe 1/4 quart of oil. You know, luckily the shop is exactly 1.5 miles each way, but I have to travel another 5 miles each way for somewhere else in the morning. So I mean, I'm racking up the, you know, every time I got to stop at the gas tank and station and fill the tank, cost me 25 something now, because gas is expensive to fill the tank. And it's another fucking $25 in oil. So, you know, I'm not, plus, 25 plus in oil. And stop leak, because, you know, this is where it's at. But anyway, for what I've spent in the last 2 months of driving that thing around, I could have bought a brand new motor almost. You know, this is just ridiculous. But I'm here every day. I got to be here. I'm trying to do stuff here, trying to get this business ready for the summer. This business, it's not a business because I ain't making any money. Nobody's making any money. But, you know, if he's never seen any of the videos before, 44 seconds, and I can't get the camera unstuck to show you some of the other stuff we got in here, but here you go. Here's something really quick. You know, this is like what we build. I build gas, you know, it's a drift trike. I build gas and electric 3-wheel bikes, all kinds of stuff. Check us out. It's Ground Up 2020 on TikTok. We got a Patreon. At some point I'll post that. You know, we got a Cash App. You want to help a buddy out, buy him a cup of coffee. But all I'm saying is we're trying to make the channel decent, and I'm hurting now. You know, I bought this motor, it's supposed to go right in, and it can't, and now we're out of time. So, goodbye.